Okay, now we're up.
Cool. Are we? Let's go then.
It's going.
Cool. Greetings, everybody. We have returned once again to play our fun little live streaming random chat game, as per usual. Today I was out on the river with Dennis playing. We were fishing and out on the Bow River, so I decided to carry along my nice new little Spyderco Bow River.
Yo, dog, we heard you like Bow Rivers.
Word.
Grammatically correct.
Yeah, it's a nice little blade. I'm enjoying it so far.
It's a sweet little budget blade, man. That thing's not expensive, but it's a sweet little knife.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, we were out on the river, so I was carrying a Pixie. It's the gunny sidekick.
Is that Ironwood?
No, this one's Pokey.
Okay. It's hard to see on screen, but it's pretty.
So, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. What about you, Joe?
Still in the quote-unquote honeymoon phase, so it's the native with S90V and carbon fiber because it's a beautiful thing. Still awesome. Still slicey. S90V's a beast.
I may have noticed Joe slicing paper today with it.
Yes.
And I'm gonna be honest, I forgot about this whole knife thing to start our show. So I'm apparently carrying the Benchmade Anthem because
surprise.
It's a Benchmade Anthem.
No.
And it's gonna go back in its gold class box.
It's gold class box.
It's his now.
Of all Benchmade knives that are not a gold class that maybe should have been considered a gold class, that would have been one of them.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Titanium integral. I mean,
cool if they did that.
Yeah. I imagine if they do make a gold class. Oh yeah, full-time Mascus. I was just gonna say, if they were gonna make one to piss Dennis off, it would probably be full-time Mascus with like a Mokame clip or something. Yep.
Yep. Just like that.
No. Just no to all of what just happened. Right there. Can you just say greetings, everybody, again, and pretend like that entire conversation just didn't happen?
No.
You know what? To be fair, there was nobody here for all of it. Darren just showed up. What's going on, brother?
Perfect.
Good day.
Perfect. Darren, you missed all the bullshit.
Lucky boy.
We're getting shamed by Justin for not going live on time. I blame YouTube.
Yeah.
I said we were going to be a minute late. I said we were going to be.
Getting shamed from the guy who consistently forgets, then shows up halfway through the streams.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, what are you guys carrying tonight? Darren, Justin?
Mm-hmm.
Is it a bug out mini? Probably not a bug out mini.
Swayback.
Do you want to talk about that Swayback briefly before we get into the rest of the episode here? Kind of a first impressions from you guys. Because I have thoughts. Some of them are disappointed, but
It is a beast.
It is, yes. Quite a bit longer than I was expecting the thing to be. That's what you said, obviously. Didn't come with the wire clip. We knew this.
You had to put obviously at the end of that,
by the way. Yeah, obviously.
That's what she said, obviously.
Yeah. Well, someone's got to be making that joke, right?
Justin's taken off on us again. He's in a video call, so we'll talk to you soon, brother.
See you, man.
Also, dragonflies are lighter than mini bug outs, is something that he said, which is true. We actually weighed them, and they are lighter.
Yeah.
And Darren's carrying his new guitar and the Sword of the Witch King.
Nice.
Is an interesting combination.
That's a metal, that's a very metal combination.
Don't mix them up when you go to do some sick riffs and then accidentally grab the sword and go to slide up and
That's a hospital trip.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do those things.
No.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
But you could use your sword as a slide on the guitar
Yeah,
and
yeah.
play some sweet, sweet blues with
You
the witching
could.
sword.
But should you?
Yes.
Paul's just
Why is this even a question? Of course you should. Like,
obviously.
Do you see my head shaking?
Yeah.
That means no. You're wrong.
So I know I've seen you hold it, Nigel, but what was the feel and hand like for you for the Swayback?
I was expecting it to be bigger, like I knew that going in, but it was like I think it's too big for that style. Like a knife that size is comfortable in my hand and whatnot, but for like the Swayback, it's supposed to be a little bit more gentlemanly, old school sort of thing, and it's like 3/4 of the way to a cold steel version almost. Like it's so beefy.
Yeah.
I now want an XL Espada-sized Swayback.
Oh no.
it's called the Frenzy. Yeah.
Exactly.
You already own it.
It's a Swayback. It goes the other way.
I'm not sure if I actually made the comment to you, Joe, but I did have that thought yesterday. It's a mini frenzy.
Yeah, you did. And
Maybe that's why I like it.
Yeah, I agree. It's a little big for that
Your
style.
Frenzy's just
My-
10 handles. We can reshape the handle and sway that thing up pretty easily there, Paul, for sure.
But the spring, you need to have the back spring curved as well. It'd be a whole thing. And for the
Joe's trying to great.
a little
Don't you
bit,
dare touch my Frenzy.
you touch once the frenzy gets touched, you're saying you're gonna go anodize his sleesh buoy.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Get the scales replaced.
Hang
with
on a
Melted
sec
Tech.
here. Hang on.
It sounds like a fair trade.
How dare you put the Sleesh Bowie and a Frenzy in the same goddamn category?
It's not
Out
so
of
much
all
in the
my
same
knives to
category.
mess with, you gotta go there right off the bat. Like,
It's an escalation.
We're talking about
It's the nuclear option.
we're talking about sleesh knives here, right? Like, I thought it was topical. That pocket.
What's going on, Mr. Fisk? Why can't y'all stay in the same places? Apparently, we're in a different orientation again.
Just to mess with you.
That's awesome.
We do it specifically to mess with Mr. Fisk.
Yep.
once again, I was the last one to join, like I always am. So I can't be to blame.
Yeah. I was first,
My
as I usually am.
consistency is there every single time. Sorry, go ahead.
And if you're both consistent, then I would have to be by default.
Yeah, like I was just saying that I'm usually the first one in.
I have no idea. At this point, I have no clue.
I was gonna say, so what's the excuse? What's the excuse there, Joe? Come on.
There is none. I honestly don't know.
Get with the program, man.
No, the program's got me, apparently. There is no option that I'm aware of in Zoom to like reorganize. Otherwise, I would do much more drastic reorganizations. But no.
What's going on, Paul?
No, Mr. Fisk is saying that Joe's the only one that's consistent. That's because he's the caller.
Yeah.
We get called by him. I was going to ask you, Dennis, what your thoughts on the Swayback are.
I was just about to make a joke about Joe almost being a gentleman caller, but you know,
This is Joe. So
the gentleman thing kind of ruins it.
Yeah.
Gentlemanly segues into the Swayback pretty nicely though. So you know, let's play that card for sure. It was too big for me, and then as a lefty, they rounded the hole, which is kind of a nice, cool feature that's not crisp. But I pin the lock bar much easier than I do on the Sleesh buoy or the Techno or the whatever when I'm finger flicking.
Yeah.
And I was finding that my thumb was pinning the frame lock on the Swayback easier than I wanted it to.
I think that's...
It wasn't ZT tough to deploy, but...
I noticed today that the lock bar basically constitutes half the scale. Like, it's proportionally a lot larger than the Sleesh buoy.
it looks like it's less than a third on the Bowie too. Like there's a lot of space that you can put your finger without it being on a lock bar on the Bowie.
Yeah. Whereas the Swayback, yes, you have to be conscious of it, much more conscious.
Just a quick shout out to John. John's in chat. What's going on, brother?
Good day,
And then Darren saying finger flicking. Is this not a family show? And no, it's not a fucking family show.
Have you not met
Should
us?
not be watching this.
You've met us. Come on.
I'm pretty sure I marked this as not appropriate for children, but now you're making me nervous about it. I guess for me, I actually really liked the Swayback, except for the pocket clip. It totally ruined it. I don't like it in a forward grip, which I know, like Swayback handle, I know this is the right blade, but the handle curve this way, they want you to hold it like this for, peeling cuts or sideways cuts. But I thought, okay, so if I am going to use this knife in a forward cutting position, if this is the only knife I have, how uncomfortable is it going to be? The answer is yes. They should have gone with a wire clip. I don't know why they deviated away from the way they did it with the Bowie. They should have stuck with the wire clip, and I think I would be sorely tempted if that was a change.
I've heard that if you convince Spyderco that you own a Nirvana, they'll send you one of the bead blasted clips, which also happens to fit the Swayback. So at least you'll have a bead blasted titanium clip to match the bead blasted titanium handle instead of the mirrored clip, because the mirror is also just kind of like, why did you do that?
Yeah, it
I guess to keep the price not crazy.
I guess, but the price is already kind of up there to begin with.
But it's not Sleesh Bowie up there.
Well, no. How much was the Bowie new? I can't.
I want to say it was like $4-ish Canadian, 4.25, something like that. But that was several years ago now too.
Yeah, and with the G10 3D milled backspacer as well, instead of just regular standoffs. So a little bit more machine work went into it for sure. Maybe that's not true, though. I think I remember seeing Chavaz's disassembly in the pivot. They did some kind of double-studded nonsense on the inside. And I say nonsense, but no, on the Swayback.
Swayback, I believe, yeah.
Yeah, which I'm not actually complaining about. I'm calling it nonsense, but I actually think it's kind of a cool touch that they do all that machining. I don't see this knife being as popular as the Bowie. I don't think it has enough wide appeal the same way the Bowie did.
That's a fair argument. This is one of the few knives that came in kind of right in the realm of what I was hoping it was going to be. It actually did surprise me a little bit on the size of the knife. But I like a big knife. And as far as that like backwards kind of swayback grip, it feels really comfortable to me in that grip. And the number of times that if I'm cutting tape or something like that, I'm already holding the knife sideways, and that feels really comfortable with the swayback as well. I'm going to be able to rationalize buying myself a swayback at some point.
Well, and I think with the swayback too, because like it does have a handle that sweeps back, right? You can like get back there, and you can really like increase your chopping power for that new Spyderco Swayback.
For the super like
just the handle angle that it has on it, right?
Ground, it's perfect.
Because that deep hollow grind is just ideal for chopping into things.
The question I was going to ask you guys,
smartass, but yeah.
Bowie.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
On your Bowie, guys, the hole, is it a smooth hole on the Bowie as well, or is it grabby?
That's a hell of a question. Yeah, no, it's chamfered.
I think, honestly, it has more to do with the machining of that blade. I don't think they specifically went out of their way to chamfer the hole. I think when you mirror polish something and then do a tumble on it, it's going to get rounded. All the corners got rounded on it.
Yeah.
But I can see where it would be an issue. Like the PM2, you can Spidey flick that thing from any direction, because when you get your finger on that hole, it pops.
That's what she said.
Obviously.
Mr. Fisk is saying in chat that he heard that if you buy a Sebenza 21, the swayback ceases to be an issue.
I agree with that statement, actually. Yeah, the grip, depending on reverse pruny grip or not, it just doesn't matter anymore. It's just not an issue.
It's true. I just like the way that knife looks, if I'm being completely honest.
It's
one of the few times where I've wanted a hollow ground blade. Or don't care that it's a hollow ground blade of the knife.
That particular blade is really nicely done, though. Like, as far as hollow grinds go, it's pretty shallow behind the edge. I do like it.
But I also agree that pocket clip needs to go. It's going to get replaced with an MXG clip at some point.
Yeah. It's for the best.
That's the fact of the matter. It's going to happen. Maybe I'll go 3D milled clip and really make somebody upset.
Get it nice and penisy.
There you go.
One of those really long, skinny, just like single rod clips that I've seen. Like, yeah.
I'm of a mixed opinion of those, to be honest. I think they can look nice on particular designs, and then on others it just looks stupid.
The answer is no. The answer is no.
What question? What's the question?
I don't mind it on my
long,
Vulcan.
skinny
clip.
You don't like that kind of a clip?
I like that.
No, that's like a milled titanium. That's different. That's different than the clip I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
I've seen clips where it's just like the stainless steel clip, but it's like, it's longer than a normal Benchmade clip is.
Oh, right.
Like a little strip about this big, and it's just like still this long. It covers half your knife for 3/4 of your knife. They're just ridiculous. And kind of make aftermarket ones that are like that, like
almost like the clip on the M16 line, the old M16 line with the auto locks and stuff. Very narrow.
Exactly the same kind of like super skinny, but longer. Yes.
Jesus. Those weren't short clips to begin with.
No. What's it? Given PNW saying Rips Garage Tech has TI mold clips for the swayback already, so
crazy.
Good to know. I'm going to look that up later after I forget about all of that there. I'll go and look for it later without any knowledge at all.
Yay. I'm already familiar with Rip's Garage, so I mean, yeah, you could just ask me to remind you, and I'll be like, yeah, those guys.
I'll do that thing because I want a milled clip for my swayback, just to make it a $500 knife instead of a $400 knife. Yeah. Do you want to get on to questions?
I think so.
We should start there. Also, Given, what are you rocking tonight? And John, you too. Should have asked this before. But what are you guys carrying tonight?
And I'm just going to assume Mr. Fisk has a Sebenza.
Gonna come out of left field and tell us he bought a swayback.
Yeah.
If his Instagram story is anything to go on, I'm pretty sure he's carrying the half serrated Sebenza.
I was curious if that was a bit of a secret jab at Joe when he posted that earlier today. I got to be honest, I saw that.
Oh, there was no secret jabs. He had a conversation with me and Joe.
Yeah.
Both about that clip.
He sent me the picture directly, and I got a pretty good laugh out of it, actually.
Yeah.
And I do have to say, upon closer examination of the Sebenza serrations, I actually don't hate them. It's neat that they alternate from one side of the blade to the other, that there's flats instead of tips. It's definitely better than Spyderco serrations, for sure.
That's me digging a hole, because Joe is just digging himself out of a hole right now.
No, I was actually surprised. Like,
backpedal.
Dig up, stupid.
How are we gonna get out of here?
We'll dig our way out.
No, dig up, stupid.
No. I still think there's too many serrations on the blade.
You didn't catch that, Nigel.
I know. He will. There'll be a clip.
Given PNW saying that he's only rocking a modded Victorinox tonight, so nothing too magical. I kind of want to know what the mods are, though. But on that note, questions. Do you take a folding knife camping, or do you prefer fixed blades?
I hope you just deleted all of the answers. I just like copy number 1.
And they're gone.
Gone forever.
Oh, jeez.
No. Kiefer says, who goes camping with like 1,000 question marks? You should go camping, sir. It's good for you.
It's a good time, man.
Get out in the out and enjoy yourself.
Indeed. Don't stay in the in. Get out into the out.
Get out into the out. You heard me.
Yeah. Don't stay in the in. Get out to the out.
Better out than in.
That's a different thing.
I'm out.
Obviously.
Mr. Fisk says that we're wrong. He's carrying a Super Freak
Okay.
and
Amazing.
a half-serrated Sabenza.
Okay.
That's funny. I
Ba-dum-bum.
was also carrying the Super Freak as my backup today. So
Very nice. Gibbons also saying that the mods for his Victorinox are an acid stone-washed tools, and there's only 3 tools, a blade, a reamer, and scissors. I'm going to be honest, it kind of sounds like a weed chopping tool, but, you know, I'm not one to judge. It's legal in Canada.
Yeah.
And probably the Pacific Northwest. I can't imagine that it's illegal in Oregon, is it? I don't think it is. Anyways,
Sure.
Kiefer saying, hello, guys, and going back to his camping with a bunch of question marks in it. Mr. Fisk is saying he will be posting screenshots of Joe and his conversation where he was fangirling over the serrations. So you've been outed.
Yep.
And then Kiefer said he only came to hear his response to the question. So
Fantastic.
and Gibbon has confirmed that it's not illegal. So
Good. As it should be.
indeed, that was a whole bunch of mouthful.
Dirty.
Not touching that one.
Nope, not one bit.
Nope.
that was
Matthew?
a chaser.
I need new friends. At least 3 of them. On that note, Matthew P06 says that he carries fixed blades. Everyday Caleb said that all of his knives come out to play, which
That is a correct
me
answer.
and Dennis had a conversation recently about going camping, and that's my problem when I go camping is like, I know I only need 2, but I'm going to bring 6. And I don't need them, and I won't even end up using them. Because the 2 that I picked out first are the ones that I'm actually going to use. But I still go out in the bush with too many.
It can happen.
Sorry. Everyday Carry Canadian says that he goes out with both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Espresso Based Bushcraft says Fixie. Yours truly .cc says fixed. Parent 6280 says both with a question mark. I think he's calling us out on it being a weird question, which I think it's a good question.
Yeah.
There's a lot of knives out there that you don't really need to have. Like if you've got an axe, you can go out with an axe and a folding knife and not really be wanting for a lot. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
Or you could just go out with an Adamas and just chop your trees down with that.
Yeah,
There you go.
Depends on what style of camping you're doing, and
Yeah.
if like it's more car site camping, all you need is a marshmallow stick sort of thing.
yeah,
You can
exactly.
easily get away with a little folder.
Yeah, you could get away with a half-ass kitchen knife type of
Yeah,
thing.
but
All you
also
do
in
is
that situation,
marshmallow stick to food prep, like it's
The
but
funny
also
thing
in that
is-
situation.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Paul. Like
I was
also
gonna
in
say,
that sort of. Oh, this delay is too funny.
Oh, fantastic.
Go ahead, and then I'll go after.
All right. Also, in that sort of situation, if it was like car site camping, I would be more likely to take out the giant bundle of knives because I'm not packing it all in.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure. I think that in the future that might be something that helps me by packing my bag without the extra knives in it and feeling the weight, and then throwing the extra knives in and being like, yeah, do you really want to carry that? No? Then keep them at home.
Yeah.
I forget what I was going to say.
Perfect.
It all works out.
No, I remember what I was going. Fuck you, Joe. What I was going to say was the number of people that I've talked to recently, specifically customers that have come into the shop, that a paring knife that's their camp knife. It's surprised me. I've had the conversation with like 4 or 5 different people this year that, you know, they come in and get their kitchen knives sharpened up, and then that's the one I take camping with me.
Well, I mean, even those new Pro Series that Shun just came out with, you have that little utility, or even like the chef's knife or whatever. If you're car site camping with an Oz 6 blade, you can sharpen marshmallows and cut your like hot dogs or whatever you're doing while you're
you can
out
sharpen
there.
all the marshmallows.
Yeah, you heard that too, did you?
Marshmallows.
Now listen here, you see.
Oh dear.
If you're eating blended marshmallows, you're doing it wrong.
I'm sorry.
Is
Is the act of putting marshmallow in your mouth not manly enough for you? It's got to be sharp. I love that.
Marshmallows taste better when you have a bloody mouth, Joe. Didn't you know?
Oh no, I don't like any of that. That being said, their cleaver looks particularly nice. Nigel and I were looking at that yesterday, and it's kind of cool.
I think Nigel mentioned it yesterday. That cleaver is screaming to be thrown.
It will be thrown. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
Mr. Fisk says, y'all need Jesus, and I'm going to say it for him so that he's only referring to you 3. Y'all need Jesus.
You need Jesus, Paul.
What?
I've got enough Jesus in my life.
Bait.
So there might be a few things that we might need Jesus about. I want to know what he's thinking we need Jesus for.
What
I'm not
specifically?
Sure. It was
I told you.
quickly after we were talking about legalization of certain herbal remedies, let's say.
And if that's the case, he'll be a great hookup. Because, man, if you dig into the Bible, there was a lot of that innuendoed in there.
I'm just saying, if he can make water into wine, he can make oregano into weed.
Yeah.
There was burning bushes that talk to people. You tell me.
Oh,
holy anointing oil.
Burning some bush.
Fantastic.
I hate it all of it. And on that note, the finest tradition says that he carries both.
Way to get back on track.
Yeah.
You like that?
That is the finest tradition, carrying both.
Yes. I mean, I would say that's probably true. A little like 3-piece or 3-blade traditional and a fixed blade was probably one of the first like combination out in the bush you'd probably see.
Mm-hmm.
Little whittling knives and then the knife that's going to do everything else.
Yep.
Oddly enough, since we were just talking about him, Mr. Fisk's answer here, he doesn't get to go camping, and he doesn't appreciate us reminding him of his inability to go camping.
Well,
sucker.
So when you go on your camping trip in a couple weeks, guys, you should definitely tell Mr. Fisk all about it.
Just tag him and everything.
How far does his lack of ability to get out stretch? Like, is he super annoyed that both me and Dennis were out fishing today and you and him were out fishing yesterday? Just to rub it in a little bit.
I was more wondering if we needed to come up with another video. And if we needed to come up with another video that was camping in an urban environment tips, specifically for Mr. Fisk. And we can come up with some good camping at home tips for him, just to make it feel a little more rustic, right? Like
take your blanket and set it up like a tent in the living room.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Are your floors concrete? Can you set up a small fire? Are you going to burn through? Like, it's factors, for sure.
If you're going to put tent pegs into the concrete, you're going to need a drill that can get through the concrete first. So
I hate all of that. I think you guys should have started that conversation by saying, "Hey, Mr. Fisk, you're not going to get your damage deposit back."
I mean, you should be able to infer that, just given who he's talking to and what sort of advice he's getting. But
That's fair. That's fair.
Hey, yeah, this was advice about camping. It wasn't advice about home ownership and maintenance.
Don't take advice from the four of us, that's for sure, when it comes to home ownership.
Get yourself a place with a lot of windows. That's the only thing I'll say. Windows are great.
Yep.
But yeah, Stoned Wookie, or Darren in chat here, says he takes both. Mr. Fisk is saying no, he had a good day today, so your barbs don't land.
Nuts. Yeah, they didn't.
Except for in your chin.
Either.
I was gonna say, except for the chin, yeah.
Yeah.
Nick M89 says for camping, fixed blades or a solid folder. So I would take solid folder to mean
Something
like a
called
recon.
steel.
Yeah.
Or
like
the
a
atom
recon,
ass.
something like
Yep.
I'm being told not to tent shame Mr. Fisk, and I will tent shame.
All day.
That is a thing that I will do. Shame, shame, shame.
First of all, you're using a tent, so you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
But
True story.
See? Tent shame.
On the ground like a pleb.
on the ground? You're kidding me.
that's where the worms live. Come on.
You're better than worms, aren't you? Come on. For the record, I have 2 tents. I'm not better than worms.
You just set one tent
For
on
the
beside the
record-
other.
For the record, me and Dennis are referring to hammock camping because that's the way to do it.
When you go car camping, they don't really like you setting up hammocks in their trees. They get a little testy about it sometimes.
Yep, just have to bring some sort of thick strapping or padding so it doesn't bite in as hard.
Indeed.
And if you're going car camping, you can actually use your vehicle as one of the tie-down spots quite often.
Yep.
And so you
Bring
only
2
wreck
cars and
one
tie down
tree
in
and-
between.
Yep. I've even seen rigs that are either you can hook into your trailer hitch and it'll have like the hammock stand built in.
It's kind of
Or
cool.
else I've seen one that's
You're across the back of it. Type
Yeah.
Of, yeah.
or else I've seen ones that are like 2 separate legs and they've got forks that lay on the ground with the rods going up, and you drive your tires, so your tires of your car are holding down each one, and then the rods up are your frame.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That would make sense. But I've also seen vehicle like additions that are tents on the top of your vehicle that have like thick mattresses and stuff like that. And if you're gonna go tent camping, at least do it bougie as fuck.
Yeah.
Also, you're not on the ground like a pleb.
Those are pretty nice setups.
Yeah.
Who's tent shaming now?
Paul.
Oh, I looked up literally as it popped up on screen. Mr. Fisk just unsubscribed again.
Don't worry, he'll be back. He's always back.
Indeed. On that note, Tom's says both. Joe Frazier 101182 says he brings both because why not?
Yep.
I think Joe Frazier might go car camping.
Yeah.
Hell of a boxer, though. Hell of a boxer.
I don't know if it's the same guy.
It'd
be awesome if it was.
What are you talking about?
Crunchy80 says he brings both. Also, Crunchy80 is a great Instagram handle. Given
the
Pin
worst-
is asking if we use tents, he says he uses tarps, and that's what Dennis and Nigel are talking about, is tarps with hammocks underneath them.
Well,
yeah,
I
he's
think
probably just doing like a one step less, which is like a tarp with like an air mattress underneath it on the ground
Yeah.
type of thing.
doing a tarp shelter rather than a tent.
Yeah, I've seen a number of different setups from like Dave Canterbury and stuff like that. A-frames and different shapes for different weathers and moisture content in the air.
Yep.
I just took a wicked like turn into the sun there, and you can see my suntan from fishing yesterday.
Nice.
It's a good look. Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
I feel like that one picture of Donald Trump where his hair is all getting blown back, and you can see the spray tan real good. Once upon a USN, or Calvin, is saying that he carries a fixed blade all the way. Which, the last time he went camping, he was carrying a zombie tools, something or other. What was the zombie tools that he had?
Didn't he have the
Did
big
he
old
bring out?
cleaver?
It was like the Reaver Cleaver or the Rat
the Reaver
Bastard
Cleaver?
or one of those. Yeah. The Reaver Cleaver, because he went car camping, so he brought out his
Yeah.
big ass sword. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. As far as bringing a fixed blade camping, that's the way to do it.
You win.
Like,
You win, sir.
You can you can whittle the best wind chimes with that thing.
I'll show you carving, all right?
Can you?
The great thing is you can baton through like 3 logs all at the same time.
You could baton through your car if you wanted to with that thing.
I don't think you know how car camping works.
I sure I do. This is just hard mode, or the permanent version of it.
The permanent mode of car camping.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's just homelessness, Joe.
Hey, that's a lot more depressing than what I was trying to
There's
say.
squatting rates after a certain.
Given saying that the style of tarp camping that he does is he builds a lean-to mostly, which I think what I'm picturing in my head is exactly what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think one of our big problems as well is we'd like to do survival shelters, things like that, but we are out on Crown land, and we're trying not to disrupt as much as possible.
Public
we do
land,
actually
yes.
do things like fire pits and stuff like that, but we're
But
trying to be
something like-
more conscious about it because
A fire pit, if you were like to say we're never coming back here again, you could fill that fire pit in fairly easily.
Oh yeah.
And it would be like you never were there in the first place, right?
Yeah. But yeah, it would be awesome to get into actually building some sort of shelters and stuff like that. But yeah, it's crown land or public land, so it's everyone's land, not just ours, and they frown upon us treating it as ours and doing stuff like that. So unfortunate.
So if you wanted to build,
Unfortunate, but fair at the same time.
Yeah, totally.
so logistically then, if you wanted to build like a log cabin in the middle of nowhere to go visit, either for hunting trips or whatever else, you would opt in to like bring in all your supplies, build it on site, or rather
if it was on your property,
yeah,
you can do whatever you want. But if it's on like crown land or public land, you can't build any permanent shelters
right, okay,
or
fair
permanent
enough.
structures.
But I'm pretty sure that squatters' rights kicks in after 7 years. So if you can get away with it and have documentation that you've been there for 7 years, you might be able to make a claim for squatters' rights. But
Which is probably why they don't want you making permanent structures in the first place. There's probably some correlation between those two things.
Yeah, probably.
yeah, right now in at least our province, when you go camping, it's 2 weeks. You can't actually be in the same location for more than, I believe it's 14 days.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
Because they
Interesting.
consider anything after that, I believe they do consider that to be like permanent structure type of stuff.
Like
After
you've
it's been there
set
longer
up
than
that
2
it's a living situation, not just a camping visit.
Yeah,
Okay.
of course.
So anytime you see, oh, go ahead.
Sorry, no, whatever you were saying there. Before
I was just going to say, anytime you see like some of the survival-y shows that you see, and it's like Jim Baird and Ted Baird, and they've done 28 days in the Arctic, they're moving campsite to campsite on either a 1 or a 2 day basis type of thing. So even though they are out for 3 or 4 weeks sometimes, it's still like not considered a permanent structure, right? So but anyway, that's all I was going to say. Yeah.
Fair enough. On that note, the Canadian Canuck says both. It still works every time. I'm risking all of our questions, but it's working. B Ping says he carries a fixed, but he usually has a backup folder on me. EDC Lover Pakistan says both. Black Cat says both. And Ahsoka Edge says fixed blades preferred. Can't send a folder to a fixed blades job. And it seems almost like a theme this week. We've gotten one response that I know for sure is from somebody in Russia, and the Russian answer is a little bit different than everybody else's. Knife Collie says, depending on the knife, some cold steel knives can beat fixed blades. And then he says the Finn Wolf, for example.
Yeah. It's a good little knife.
So,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, so I think in that situation, he's just saying that, like, ultimately probably a fixed blade is a better option for an outdoor camping environment. I think we all are under agreement personally for that as well.
Yeah.
But you will find folders that can totally get the job done if you decide that you just want to go, this is all I'm taking. And all I'm going to take out is a super mini freak. And I'm going to pound on it all weekend long. But I've got an axe or I've got a saw or I'm car camping or whatever. So type of thing, right? But yeah.
Yeah, and I was going to say, there was an argument to be made that like a Finn Wolf, as far as like a folding carving knife, because it's got that Scandi edge, it's going to perform better than most other folding knives in that task. But the Finn Hawk is probably a better overall option because it's a fixed blade.
Yes and no, maybe. I don't know. Because it is a croup steel on a Scandi compared to the Oz 8, depending on what cold steel does with your Oz 8.
I'm thinking from a standpoint of I wouldn't baton the Finn Wolf.
I probably would.
You probably would.
I think
it'll roll the edge, but it's Scandi Oz 8, so you could take it on a rock and strop it and probably make it sharp again, type of thing, right? Like,
I think the axis lock definitely.
I will also give a quick shout out. Wait, hang on. Give a shout out. Our last contest giveaway was actually a Finn Wolf, which is what Nightcallie's calling out as something that you could actually baton with in the out of doors. So,
I was just
us.
You've batoned with your Super Freak though, haven't you?
It still has the like gunk on it that I haven't been able to get. Yeah.
Stuck in the DLC coating. Nice.
I've been working at it. It's almost gone. Yeah. So
I've batoned heavily with the Adamas as well. Benchmade knives, I know they can take a lot of abuse. The Triad lock, also a good option for sure. I mean, you don't want to try felling trees or anything with it, but I mean, splitting small pieces of wood.
Between Joe and Dennis doing batoning with their folding Benchmades and Nigel throwing his Griptilian, I think that's a pretty damn strong argument for people that will say that an access lock's not as strong as X, Y, or Z or whatever, or will question whether or not it is strong enough.
Yeah, like a lot of
until you have to send that pesky email about an Omega Spring breaking.
Yeah,
man, it's such a pesky email. I can't believe how hard it is to write. It's just unbelievable.
I've been compiling that email for about 2 years now. I'm almost ready to send it.
It's a pretty formal email. It's
lots of prose and like just flower.
Dear Madame and/or Sir. Yeah. Pinkies up, right?
Yeah. Tip the fedora.
Oh, that's not classy. That's something else.
It used to be back before people ruined it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On that note, Ben Ping says, "Good evening, all. What's going on, brother?
Good day.
What are you carrying tonight?" And we should go on break and come back to his answer.
Indeed, we should.
Is there any other viewers' answers to that question?
No. Or do we want to do our answers and then go to break?
We can. I know Ben just joined us, but if we take a quick break, probably won't be long on this first break, only again like a minute or so, something like that. We can dive into our own answers and hear what Ben's carrying tonight. Hopefully it's a fixed blade because he just came back from camping, you know. Yeah. So
we'll be taking our short little break here. Either hang out in the chat and entertain each other, or else go off and grab a drink yourselves, because that's what we'll be doing. And we will be back shortly with everyone.